My name is Nadine McKenzie, and I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer at the age of 39. And I'm sitting here today with Janelle. Janelle, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, my name is Janelle, and I am 38 years old. I was diagnosed in 2021 with HER2 positive breast cancer, and I'm currently in remission.
And I am Cindy Stater-Drummond, and I am a registered psychotherapist and private practice owner, and I am sharing space today to have this conversation around mental health and breast cancer. So thank you very much for allowing me to stay here today with you. So both of you, even though very different in the way that you got your news and the way that you experience your news, but there's overlap, there's similarity. Nadine, you mentioned something that's so critical when we talk about these kinds of experiences, when we're facing very tough choices in our life, and you said there's this predisposition as Black women that we have to be strong. And when I think about that, it's, did you actually give yourself time, just even a little bit of space, to just feel what you needed to feel, without it being this idea that you have to hold up everything else? Because, you know, you've both mentioned being parents, and you're automatically thinking about your children and what's going to happen and providing that care. Was there a moment where you just stepped back and said, this is happening, this is real, and you said, I'm okay, I'm going to feel what I need to feel in this spot?
For me, I had just turned 40, so I was diagnosed in September, and I turned 40 in November. And I already had decided prior to my diagnosis that when I turn 40, I'm a big grown-ass woman. So nobody's gonna tell me nothing. I'm gonna be very unapologetic about who I am as a person. So this is gonna sound very twisted, but in a way, cancer almost gave me an extra push to be like,
okay.
You can't talk to me about that. I have cancer. I can't. All of a sudden, I didn't have to be the super strong friend anymore. I could kind of, people would come to me with a bit more perspective.
Okay.
So like sometimes you have, and I'm sure you're familiar, you have a lot of friends that are just, you know, they're a little gloom bearish. Like life's a little negative.
It's always heavy.
You know, even if their circumstances are generally better than a lot of other people's circumstances, they still are predispositioned to complain. So, and you'll listen because you're the friend that will, but all of a sudden cancer just kind of just like a little perspective, maybe someone else. Yeah. Maybe you want to talk to somebody else about what you're dealing with, because I'm kind of dealing with something that's actually life-threatening, not like, so I mean, I felt, this is crazy, but I felt empowered by my ability for once to actually prioritize myself. You look at your time differently. So like, do you want to spend your time allowing, because you, as Black women, we tend to become people's trash bins where they just want to vent to us. And some people are just really just black holes. Like you can't pour enough into them. And so all of a sudden it's like, bro, I got kids to worry about. I have my health to worry about. I can't take on any additional stress. I'm not going to be able to coddle you this time around. I'm going to prioritize myself and my health. So yeah, you look at your time.
For me, if I ever took any time to stop and think, no, I'm just looking back at it just now. The other day, I was like, from my diagnosis to getting treatment, to getting surgery, to getting radiation, it was just like on to the next, okay, you have this, so let's on to the next, okay, let's on to the next, okay, you did chemo, that break you down, but you made it, so let's go. Now it's time for surgery. You go through surgery. Now let's go. Now it's radiation. Now it's another surgery. So it's just like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And then after radiation and all of that, then I found out that, because at first I was diagnosed with HER2 negative, but then because I have the BRCA gene, it mutated to positive. So then I had to get the Herceptin for 17 treatment every 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks I have to be back at the hospital. So that made me feel another year feeling that I am going through that again. So it's just on. And I'm really tired, but I'm just like, let's go. We gotta do this. And everyone is telling you, don't stress. Cancer like stress, don't stress. And you're like, okay, I'm not gonna stress. But, and you know, you have life coming at you, you know, finances. I'm home, I'm a workaholic. I used to work 2 jobs, you know, went for my own. Now I'm at home, not doing anything, and it's just like bills are coming. You have the kids, you have this, you have everything coming to you. So it's just like, it's just the other day I look back at it, and it's sometimes when I look at social media and people putting up their stories, like they have videos of them when they were in the hospital bed, and I didn't want none of that. I don't know, I'm different. I didn't want none of that because sometimes I say maybe I should have had some, but I didn't. I did videos of when I completed stuff, but like they're laying in the hospital bed with all this stuff, and like when I just finished surgery and all of that stuff, and I'm looking at it. Like I did a video on my Instagram of like when, you know, like when my hair was all gone, and then like just to look at me now and what I'm doing, and like I'm living my life and I'm trying to exercise and all that stuff. But and I'm like, sit down, I'm like, girl, you've been through a lot. You need to take care of you know. But it's just, I don't know, it's just because, like I said, my 2 kids, I feel I'm all they got. So I just have to keep going and pushing for them. I know I need it. I started talking to someone before, but it didn't work out. But I know I do need that outlet. I need that outlet. And my outlet right now is just crying.
Okay.
And then on to the next.
And then on to the next. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and you mentioned outlet, and you know, when we talk about mental health, that being your outlet, then allowing someone to sit with you and hold space with you so that you can take that pause, right? And it's not always about let's process your emotions and let's process everything that you're experiencing and how you're managing through the day. Yeah, that's sometimes we part of the conversation, but it really is just a time for you to be like, you know what? Yeah, this is it. This is where I'm at today, right? And I'm grateful. I'm angry. I'm everything, but allowing yourself to be in that space and be in that moment.
And I think the Olive Branch of Hope, specifically for me, was that first opportunity. It's one thing to have a whole bunch of people in your life that love you and are scared for you and dealing with it with you, going through it, but having women that are currently in the process. It's one thing for someone who's not dealing with it to be like, you're so strong. It's another thing to have a woman who's going through it and saying to you, you're so strong, because then it's like, oh, I really am strong. Yeah. I really am. And especially the first time that I met Janelle through the Olive Branch of Hope, she exchanged so much information with me about social workers, and she put me onto so much things. So I think it's great to have your support system, but programs like the Olive Branch of Hope and bringing women together that are dealing with it, there's nothing that can compare. There's no friend that I've had for 30 years that can compare to the conversations and the experiences that I have with the women that are going through treatment and have gone through treatment, and the survivors and thrivers through organizations like this, especially women of color.